Hello, welcome to this video on how to set up a setup for a Royal Python and just the basic care of it, just in case anyone is interested. I thought I'd make this video. Now, we'll start off with the basic setup in the enclosure. Now, myself, I like to use these tubs because they're easy cleaned out and you can see all around and see into the Python. I use these in what they call a rack setup, which is basically this here. Basically a row of shelves with all the tanks or the boxes sitting on them. So this one here is where this guy came out of. And as you can see, that's the heat mat in there on the shelf. So when I put that back in there, this tank or box will be sitting on top of the heat mat, which will then transfer the heat through into the bottom of the box. And that's what these snakes like the best, is belly heat as opposed to a heater from above. They prefer to be laying on the heat, which this system here provides. Now, with the heat mats, you want to be covering roughly a third of the tank or the tub, whatever you're using, for the heat. So roughly a third of the bottom of the enclosure covered by the heat mat. You also need to have a thermostat. That's just one there. I have a few of them in here. So that's just one type there, Hobbystat one. Sorry about these teddy bears here. And then that there's just a microclimate one as well. And then again, that's just another microclimate, just a different colour. So it is. So that's basically the heat. The temperature you want to set these at is low to mid 90s in the hot spot for the Royal to lie on. So if I take you back to the tank here, you can imagine this tank or tub going into the shelf. The heat mat will basically be up here at this end. So this end here will be sitting on the heat mat, and this will be the hide for the warm end of the tub. And then if he wants heat, he can go in there, get all the heat he needs. And then if he wants to cool down, you also need a hide in the cool end. So you'll have a hide in the warm end, a hide in the cool end, to allow the snake to thermoregulate its temperature. Obviously you need a bowl with water. I use these here, which are basically Pyrex dishes. Seem to work out fine for me. Made of glass, so easy cleaned. And then I just put a log in, just for them to climb on, and also they can rub against that when they're shedding. And then for a substrate, I just used kitchen paper, kitchen tar, because again, easy cleaned. And as soon as my snake would do anything, any mess in here, I clean it out straight away, and you can see it pretty easily on the white tissue. That's why I like it so that you can't put like shavings in, Aspen and that, but I don't really like it because when they do their business in it, it soaks into it. You never get it all completely out. You end up with smell, you know. Whereas kitchen tar, I just clean the whole thing out every time they do something, and it's easy done. So that's the basic setup and your temperature covered. Only thing else I would say about the temperature, do not use a heat mat without a thermostat. Very dangerous. You will kill your Royal Python, so you will, because you'll overheat the tank or the tub, and it can also burn it if it lies on it for too long. That's the only other one thing. And one other thing, heat mats. Buy yourself a good heat mat, a decent make. Don't be buying cheap Chinese ones. Here's one here. Basically, that's a Komodo one. They're pretty reputable, so they are. Get yourself a good make. Komodo, Habitat. They're good makes. Don't be getting any of the cheap Chinese ones, because again, they're not reliable. So they're not. So I'll show you the guy that's in here. He is a banana yellow belly, so he is, and he's obviously in one of his hides. So he is. Let's see if he's in the cool end. Yep, there he is. So now, the reason I'm using him for this video is his temperament. He's very calm, very relaxed when you handle him. So he is very inquisitive. Lovely snake. And that's what I want to say too. They're all different. Every royal python you buy will have a different temperament. So it will. On the whole, they are a pretty calm snake. So they are. And usually, rather than biting or trying to attack you, what they will do is roll up into a ball. So they will, when they feel threatened, which is where they get their other name from, the ball python. This guy here, he's pretty cool. So he is. You can handle him no problem. As I say, if you're thinking of getting one, you just have to learn the temperament of your snake yourself. Some are calm and chilled out like this guy. You can get other ones which are a wee bit nervous. Don't like being handled as much, that sort of thing. So this guy here, he's pretty calm. I do have other ones here. Like this pied. Can't see it in there at the minute, but it's pretty nervous being handled, so it is. Doesn't seem to like it as much. There she is at the back of the tank, actually. I'll see if I can get a... I just see her. There she is there. Man at the back. She's rather nervous when you're handling her. But this guy here just doesn't seem to care too much about being handled. And that's just one thing you have to find out when you get your python. You could end up with one or the other. On the rare occasion, you will get a defensive one. So you will, which will try to strike out at you. I find the best way to approach that is, if they're trying to strike, go from behind, and usually if you go to behind the snake's head and lift it, that will calm it down an awful lot. Don't try and lift it head on if it's in a defensive position. I have a couple here which would sometimes do that. This one here, the cinnamon albino I have, he would sometimes try and be more defensive, so he would when you try to pick him up. And again, this Pastel one I have, he would be the same, but again, once I go behind them, lift them up, they seem to calm down pretty quick. Just so that you know, they are all different, so they are. And again, just depending on the day the snake's having as well. You can get them on a good day or a bad day, just like anything. This guy here's never been in a bad mood with me, so he hasn't. Pretty cool temperament, so he does. So that's just one other thing. Water bowl, make sure you get a good sized one. because the odd time they like to go in it, or he's in his now. So that they, and also when they go in it, it helps with the shading process when they're in shed. When they go into shed, you'll know that because their eyes go cloudy and the colours all dull down on them, so that they, when they're in shed, they need a wee bit more humidity. Humidity wise, you don't want it that high. In the tank, sort of mid 50s humidity wise percentage, 50%, mid 50s. But on shed, you can increase that as it helps the snake shed, so it does. So that's your humidity, your temperature, basic setup. And that sort of applies to any setup you have, whether it's these tubs, fancy wooden vivarium, or whatever you decide to go for. Say I find these the best for me because easy cleaned, easy to spot any mess. And as I say, anytime my snake does something, I give it a complete thorough clean out. So I do. Rather than just spot cleaning, I would clean the whole tank out, as I keep these all in my house, so I do. So I want to keep the smell to a minimum, like, not that they're a smelly animal. If I clean them out as soon as I spot something, there's hardly any smell with them, like. I think that's about it. Other thing, feeding. Again, every snake is different with the feeding. If you're buying one, whoever you're buying it from should keep a feeding record, as well as a record of when the snake has went to the toilet and when it's shed. Anyone who keeps snakes and is passionate about them will keep a record of each individual snake, when it's went to the toilet, and when it's had a shed. So they will. I keep all mine in a A4 file. So I do. Just a file, snake and fish record, because of some fish as well. Just show you a quick look at them. Yeah, this guy here, he's cool. So I will just keep a record of each one. That's just dividers with a record of every snake. And again, you just want to write down. I just put the name of the snake at the top, the date, what happened. So there's that one. There's my albino motley boa, and that's his weight again. I keep a record of the weight every sort of couple of months. I weigh them, put the weight in. So I just got him, you see, on the 15th of the 4th there. So I weighed him. He was 110 grams. And then on the 22nd, he had a medium-sized mouse. Pretty small at the minute, only 110 grams. This guy here could go up to 12 feet. That's extreme, like, but could go to 12 feet. Probably more like 8 to 10. This guy here is just chilling, checking out what's going on. So yeah, keep a record, and if you're buying one, make sure you get the record for the snake to show when it's at and when it's shed and everything else about it. And also what food item they're eating. Different snakes, royals especially, can be very fussy eaters, and once you sort of start them on something, that's what they'll stay on. It's hard to change them over to something else. So if he's being fed on rats, that's what you want to be feeding them on. Ideally, you want to get them on rats at the beginning when they hatch, because if you start them on mice, you can't get a mouse big enough. Once the snake is fully grown, you will not get a big enough mouse to fill it. So you ideally want them on rats, so you do, because once they're fully grown, a large rat like will be more than sufficient. And again, size, that's another thing. Males are smaller than the females. A male sort of 3 foot average, 3 to 4 foot. Big one being maybe 5 foot. Females slightly bigger, about 4 foot average, say, going to 5, and 6 foot, and them sort of being a large one. So if you don't have as much room, go for a male, because they do be slightly smaller, so they do. I find my males easier to feed as well. Don't know if that's just me or if it's a known thing that males eat easier than the females. Some of my females there, the one I was showing you earlier, the Pied Royal, very fussy, so it is. She'll maybe only eat once every 3 weeks. Still attempt to feed her every week, because if she doesn't eat, I can feed it to one of the other guys. But if you only have one snake that's refusing feed, I wouldn't defrost a rat every week for it, because you're going to waste it. Because once it's defrosted, if it doesn't eat it, you have to throw it out. So if you've only the one snake and you notice a week it doesn't go on, it doesn't eat, I would skip the next week and then try it again, and go sort of every fortnight again until it starts eating again, because you don't want to be wasting your food every week. Like, let's say with me having so many here, I can defrost one, and if they don't eat it, I can always give it to another one. There'll always be one of mine will take it, so it doesn't get wasted. But yeah, that's what I say. The males, I notice, seem to eat a lot better. That guy there's never missed a feed, that male. 2 other males there, the past have, and a cinnamon albino. They have never, I think the past halves missed a couple of feeds when it's been in shed. That's normal for them. They will go off their food when they're in shed. Again, them other 2 males I have eat no problem. 2 of the females I have are the only ones I would have problems with feeding. And again, the feeding technique, what I find works for me is I use frozen thawed food, so that I don't use live. I would lift it out, defrost it, wait it's totally defrosted. I'd put it in a heavy plastic sort of food bag that you get from any sort of supermarket, put it in it, then fill a jug I have with warm water, put the bag with the prey item in the water, heats the prey item up, so it does. Other people set them on their heat mats, so they heat them up. I find that's a bit, it releases the smell, makes them very smelly. That's why I don't do that. I put it in a sealed food bag, drop it in the sort of warm water, heats it up, lets the snake sort of, makes it think that the prey item's still alive when it goes in, because it's got a body temperature, so it does. Then just feeding tongs, don't be feeding it with your hand, because the snake doesn't really know the difference between your hand and a rat when you're shaking it about in front of its face, so you could end up getting bit. Pair of tongs, just hang it in front of the snake, and most of the time it'll take it off you. I find if they're in their hide, just sort of putting the head of the prey item in through the hole of the hide, and just give it a sort of a wiggle about, and the snake will take it, usually no problem. Say this guy here is no problem, he feeds every time, takes it straight away. He's rather good. He'll take it straight off the tongs every time. Other ones I have, no matter how much I shake a prey item in front of them, no matter how much I hold it there, they will not take it. This one here, this banana spider. Only way she'll eat is if she's in her hide. And what I do is, just what I said before, heat it up, and I leave the prey item in the tank or in the tub with just the head of the prey item through the entrance. Obviously the snake's in the hide. I just leave whatever it is just sitting and leave it there, and within, it can take a few hours, and go back and it'll be gone. Again, this guy here would not touch anything that's just lying there, so he won't. You have to stimulate him into thinking that the prey item's still alive, so you do. But say he's had no problems, he takes it off the tongs straight away off the tongs. A girl, a banana spider, will not take it off the tongs. I just leave it in her enclosure and she takes it herself. So I think that's about everything I've touched on. It's just the basics, really. If you are thinking of getting one of these animals, they are very cool and amazing animals, so they are. See this guy here, he is just great. The temperament on him, so he is really chilled, really inquisitive. Loves to get out the tank. So, as I say, these other ones I have here, I've made a few videos just going over them, showing you the different types of morph and that you can get. Say Pieds there, Pied Royal, Cinnamon Albino, Super Fire. I've got a Pastav, I've got a Banana. I have a couple other different types as well. I've got a wee Western Hognose up here, he's pretty cool. He's very inquisitive too. I'll maybe make a wee video on the housing of them as well down the line. Let's say there's my albino motley. Boa's in there. So he's small at the minute. He's only in a wee small tub there because he's only 110 grams. So I'll obviously need something a bit bigger than that once he gets, or once she gets fully grown. So yeah, that's about it. Check out the other videos if you want to see the rest of my collection, and like and subscribe, obviously. Alright, bye for now. Till next time, bye.